The first note slipped through the grand hall like a held breath. It was small, unsure, almost lost in the marble echoes, but it made the man in the back row stop blinking. If you stay with me until the very end, you'll understand why that single note shattered a CEO who owned cities but had never owned peace. And if stories that heal broken hearts matter to you, remember to like this video and subscribe, because what you're about to hear isn't just a story, it's a reminder. The charity gala glittered the way rich nights always do. Crystal glasses clinked, polite laughter floated, and cameras hovered, waiting for the right smile. Daniel Cross sat alone, as he always did, fingers folded, eyes distant. He was the kind of man newspapers called visionary, and employees whispered about like a legend. 48 years old, widowed by silence rather than death, Daniel had built an empire after his wife vanished from his life like a song cut short. Success filled his days. Loneliness filled his nights. The event host announced a special surprise, a children's performance from a local community school. Applause followed out of courtesy, not interest. Daniel barely looked up. He had learned long ago not to expect anything from surprises. Then a little girl walked onto the stage. She was too small for the piano bench, feet dangling, dress slightly wrinkled, hair tied with a ribbon that kept slipping. The microphone squeaked as she leaned toward it, eyes scanning the sea of strangers. Her voice trembled, but it carried. "Sir, I learned this song from my mommy." Some people smiled. Some checked their phones. Daniel's chest tightened before he knew why. The girl turned back to the piano, placed her hands on the keys, and hesitated. A woman in the front row mouthed, "You can do it." The girl nodded and began. The melody was simple, old, not impressive by concert standards. But it was familiar in a way that felt dangerous. Daniel's fingers curled into his palms as memory stirred, uninvited. Years ago, in a tiny apartment with peeling paint and a piano that was always slightly out of tune, a woman used to play that same song at night. She played it when she was happy. She played it when she was scared. She played it when she thought no one was listening. Daniel had listened. The girl missed a note and stopped, panic flashing across her face. Whispers rippled through the audience. The host shifted nervously. Daniel leaned forward without realizing it. "It's okay," someone whispered from the crowd. She swallowed, closed her eyes, and started again. This time, she didn't play for perfection. She played like she was talking to someone who wasn't there. The room changed. Conversations died. Glasses stopped clinking. Even the cameras seemed to hold still. Daniel felt something crack inside him, something he had armored for decades. The song carried him back to nights when he was not a CEO, but a tired young man chasing impossible dreams. Back to Elena. Back to love that didn't ask for money or power. Back to the night she left, tears streaking her face, saying she couldn't live in the shadow of his ambition anymore. He never chased her. Pride told him success would fill the gap. It never did. When the final note faded, the silence was heavy, sacred. Then applause erupted, loud and sudden. The little girl looked startled, then smiled, relief washing over her. Daniel stood. The room noticed. People always noticed when Daniel Cross stood. The applause softened as he walked toward the stage, every step echoing like a decision long overdue. The host froze, unsure whether to intervene. Daniel stopped in front of the girl and crouched so they were eye level. His voice was rough, unused. "What's your name?" he asked. "Lily," she said softly. "That song," he swallowed, "your mommy taught you." Lily nodded. "She plays it when she misses someone." Daniel closed his eyes. "Where is your mommy now?" he asked, afraid of the answer. Lily pointed toward the back of the hall. "She didn't want to come in. She says big places make her heart hurt." Daniel turned. A woman stood near the exit, half hidden by shadows, hands clasped tightly, eyes wide with fear and disbelief. Time folded in on itself. The years vanished. There she was. Older, thinner, lines of struggle etched gently into her face, but unmistakably Elena. Their eyes met. The world didn't explode. There was no dramatic music, no perfect reunion. Just two people staring across a lifetime of regret. Elena tried to leave. Daniel moved faster than he ever had in boardrooms or battles. "Elena," he said, not loudly, but with a voice that carried everything he never said before. She stopped. Lily looked between them, confused. "Mommy." Elena knelt and wrapped her arms around her daughter, whispering something Daniel couldn't hear. Then she stood, drawing a shaky breath. I didn't know you'd be here, she said. I didn't know she existed, Daniel replied, eyes on Lily. Silence pressed in again. I was pregnant when I left, Elena said. I wrote you. You never answered. Daniel's heart dropped. I never got anything. The truth hovered between them, years lost not to cruelty, but to broken communication and wounded pride. Lily tugged at Daniel's sleeve. Did my song make you sad, sir? He knelt again, tears finally spilling without permission. No, he said, smiling through them. It reminded me how to feel. That night didn't fix everything. Love stories rarely do in a single scene. But it began something honest. In the weeks that followed, Daniel learned how to sit on the floor and listen. How to attend school recitals without cameras. How to apologize without excuses. Elena learned that some wounds could soften with time. Lily learned she had a father who showed up, even if late. The piano in Daniel's penthouse was no longer decoration. It became a bridge. Some nights, Lily played. Some nights, Elena did. And sometimes, Daniel just listened, realizing that the wealth he chased was never meant to replace what he had lost. At the next gala, Daniel funded music programs instead of monuments. He spoke less about profits and more about presence. People said he'd changed. They were right. Because one small girl, one simple song, and one honest moment had done what success never could, broken him open and made him whole.